Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Chena Indian Village. My name is Levi, and I am a Nupiaq Eskimo from Fairbanks. My family has ties from Barrow and Wainwright, and my grandmother was raised by a trapper in a small community of Alaska called Lake Minchumina. My family still owns a cabin out there, and it's a very unique and isolated experience. This fall, I'll be a sophomore in high school playing hockey at a school in northern Indiana. But now, we're in the Chena Valley. This is the heart of the Athabascan Indian country, and today, Delana and I will be sharing with you how the Athabascans skillfully survived in this environment for more than 10,000 years, and how they adapted to village life and Western culture over the past century. We will have 3 stops on the tour of the village today, and I ask that you please stay with me or Delana. We are on a rotating schedule with 2 other groups, and we want to make sure you have a chance to see everything. After the tour, you'll have about 20 to 30 minutes to roam around on your own, ask any questions, or take any pictures you may have missed. Now this here is a typical setting of an Athabascan village after contact with the Western culture. Prospectors arrived into the interior of Alaska by circular steamboats, much like we did today. Missionaries, traders, and trappers followed. And after 10,000 years of a bone and stone existence, the sudden introduction of new tools, food, and weapons allowed the Athabascans to stop chasing herds of game and to settle down in more permanent villages like this one. To the left, this cabin was made entirely from resources harvested right at this site, much like it would have 100 years ago. Tall spruce trees were cut down and peeled, and laid flat across each other for walls. The walls are then chinked with moss, and smaller spruce poles were cut down and laid flat across the top for a roof. The roof was then covered in birch bark, and to help seal and insulate the roof, soil would be placed on top of that birch bark. And then to help keep the soil from eroding away, grass was planted into the soil. So knowing all of this, how many of you think you could survive an Alaskan winter in a cabin like this one? All right, a couple of you. Well, those of you that raised your hands can stay here. The rest of you can come visit us in our spacious guest cabin all the way to the left. No, I'm joking. That's called a trapper's line cabin. Those cabins are placed about a day's journey apart from each other along a winter trap line. Those cabins allowed a trapper to extend their trap line because they could travel farther away from their village more safely. Now it may not look like much, but after a long day of trapping in 40 below weather, it was a very welcoming sight. When a trapper returned to his village, he needed a place to store all his valuables. And that leads me to the structure that I'm sitting on now. This is called a cache. Cache is a French word for hiding place or storage area, and that's exactly what it is. It is a storage shed built on stilts to help keep its contents off the damp ground, out of the snow, and out of reach of pesky animals. Across the front of the cache, you can see some examples of some of the common fur-bearing animals found in the interior. First, we have the timber wolf. He stretches over 7 feet from nose to tail and is generally used in clothing by the Athabascans. Cross-sections of the back could be made into the outer part of a ruff of a parka, or one full wolf pelt could be used in the making of a men's winter parka, like on the corner of the cabin over there. This next one is the lynx. The lynx are closely related to the bobcat and are known for their black-tipped ears, their stubby little tail, and their big fluffy paws to help them bound across the winter snow. This next one is the wolverine. Now, wolverine were highly prized by the Athabascans because of the natural oil that they have in their fur that prevents your breath from freezing to in the cold and giving you frostbite. The wolverine is also a very ferocious and cunning animal. Only the luckiest of trappers were able to walk away with a wolverine pelt. In fact, I was told that if a bear and a wolverine were to cross paths, the bear would be the first one to graciously step aside. These next 4 pelts are all foxes. We have the red fox, the silver fox, and the cross fox. These are all very abundant across the interior and can sometimes all be found in the same litter. This last one on the end is an Arctic fox. You won't find these here because they only live above the Arctic Circle, about 120 miles north of where we are right now. This one is in its winter coat. In the summertime, it turns a nice chocolatey brown. These little guys are also in their winter coat, all white with a black-tipped tail. These are called ermine. In the summertime, they too turn brown, and then we just call them weasels. We Alaskans also have another playful nickname for these little guys, but before I tell you, I have to ask, how many of you are visiting us from Texas? Oh, welcome to the big state of Alaska, where we playfully refer to these little guys as our Texas-sized polar bears. No hard feelings, Texas. This next little guy is the muskrat. The muskrat are very warm and very commonly found in the interior. It would take about 40 to 60 of these to make a full-size parka. This next one is the marten. It would take 3 of these to make a nice warm winter hat. One across the top of the head and one across each ear. The tails were left on for decoration. Now, I'm sure many of you have already recognized this next one. Yes, this is the mink. Surprisingly, the mink was not valued by the Athabascans because it could not retain its warmth for very long. The mink was normally used to trim clothing or for the younger girls to practice their skin sewing on. After Western contact, though, we quickly changed our minds. These are now called the money pelt. This last pelt I have to share with you today is that of a beaver. The beaver were highly prized not only for their fur, but also their meat. Their fur has long guard hairs, which protects a thick layer of underfur. This kept it very warm and water resistant. Beaver fur was normally used in the trimming of mukluks, mittens, and parkas. At our next stop of the day, Delana will be teaching you how the Athabascans survived before any outside contact with the Western culture. We'll also get another look at the reindeer, so please follow me down to your next stop.